everybody, it's Matt Michaels here on the Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. Today I'm joined by Sin City Steve and Simon Street, and we are ecstatic to welcome, honestly, one of my favorite wrestlers in the last 20 years, man, and that is Sonny Kiss, AEW, born and bred. How you doing, Sonny?
Hi, thank you guys so much for having me. It's quite the intro.
Thank you.
Getting into your history and looking into your life that's out there in the public. My first thing is your birthday is December 11th, and so is mine. So that just makes that connection so wonderful. I love that fact.
And though, so is Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue and Rey Mysterio.
Wow,
Mysterio
didn't
too.
even know that. All right,
No,
Wow.
awesome.
that's good company. That's good company.
Seriously.
Without a doubt.
Well, in my like high school life, I loved the performing arts. And we shared the birthday and we kind of shared that love of performing arts. But I didn't mind in public school. You had the blessing of going to a performing arts academy. What was it like for you in terms of, was it did you feel more accepted in that environment, and did it help you find out who you are?
Absolutely. I feel like public schools and performing arts schools and things like that, I think they have like a diversity where it's like so many kids of all different walks of life. Like they come to that school for a specific reason. It's like, whether it's musical theater or dance or singing or acting, it's like, they're from everywhere. So it's like, I feel like it definitely shaped who I am today, in the sense that I have like a little bit of culture from, everywhere. Like I've got to know other cultures. I don't know, just other experiences. But for sure, yeah, it definitely like helped me become who I am today. Yeah.
Awesome. And so obviously your accomplishments as a dancer are well documented. What music video was the most fun to work on as a dancer, and did you choreograph it?
So here's the thing. So when you do backup dancing for like indie artists, a lot of times they'll like try to go for the music video, they'll try to do it, but the budget's not there or the timing's not there. So I've been set to choreograph and dance in several music videos that never happened.
Oh,
Man.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah, that's
They lost out on the best talent in terms of what they could have for a music video.
Right.
That stinks.
I know, it totally sucked.
well, you know what? Kind of speaking of your skills in your dance, which is definitely top shelf. What would you say? With having that dance background, was that easy to kind of transition that into your ring work?
Oh yeah, I feel like if you look at some of the best wrestlers from R-Truth to Naomi, like their dance background definitely helped them. Eve Torres, people like that. So it really does shape you as a wrestler because you have that performing arts background, you have the flexibility, the athleticism, the way your body just moves in the ring. Like it gives you like a uniqueness. And while you're doing that, as you can tell, all dancers, they have that fluidness about them, but they all have it in their own unique way. So I think that definitely gave me an edge in wrestling. It made it a little bit easier.
Right on.
Yeah, and what I love about your whole presentation, your whole your everything that you put out in the public, your whole life that you allow people to see is wonderful because it celebrates the pride you have in yourself. And Pride Month starts next week with representation and inclusion for all being such an important issue. How do you feel about the strides that have been made for the LGBTQ representation and inclusion in pro wrestling? And do you think of yourself as a leader of that movement?
Definitely one of them. But I will say I'm very, very proud of how far we've come. The fact that myself and we have Nyla, who's the first ever world's women's champion, who's trans woman. That's incredible. Like you have so many of us, Anthony Bowens, Aubrey Edwards, Kiera. I can go and name them all, but there's so many of us, that are assigned to one company where I think back in the day they probably would have one, and it would be a gimmick, and it would be very like not authentic. It would just be more of a comedy thing. Whereas like you see us now, we're being taken more seriously. Like we have people on the indies like Devon Monroe, who's like killing it, and just like really, really like carrying on that torch. And yeah, no, I love how far we've come, and I love the fact that, you know, there's so many of us that are leading this revolution, and we're all leading in, you know, the same direction, but just in different lanes, and it's incredible.
You know, really quick, I want to follow up on that. When you started out, did you feel accepted in terms of how you were treated? Because I know it's hard enough to break into wrestling, just as, you know, someone who wanted to start wrestling. But then when people start seeing, you know, personalities or race or, you know, anything else that they might be biased towards, did you experience any of that? Because I know that some people just can be really cruel.
I definitely had my moments for sure. Sometimes I remember them differently. Like sometimes I remember them a little bit more harshly than others. I think it just depends. But overall, when I really look back, I think my experience was awesome. I didn't really have too many bad experiences, bad encounters. When I did, they were taken care of promptly. I've had nothing but support from the majority of the locker rooms that I've been in, and a lot of times they come to my defense. Even when some, you know, large public figures would say some things. Yeah. Overall, I've had nothing but love.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, not to speak for all of us, but I know that personally, my favorite Angler storyline that you were involved in so far in AEW was your teaming with and then feuding with Joey Janela. How did that pairing come about? And is there anybody else on the roster right now that you'd be interested in forming a tag team with?
Oh, those are some really good questions. I absolutely loved teaming with Joey, and I loved feuding with Joey. I think the tag team didn't last long enough, and the feud lasted too long.
Yeah.
The feud lasted 9 months, and the thing is, we only had 2 matches in that 9 months. So I wish that definitely the tag team lasted a lot longer. It came about because it was supposed to happen in New Jersey. We were going to be, because I think it was Rochester, then it was Jersey right after that, right before the pandemic fully hit. It was supposed to happen in Jersey. It was always the plan, I think. I think it was going to be like a one-off, though. We were doing it in Jacksonville, and the chemistry was so natural because Joey and I have known each other for a long time. We've done the drives together, listening to our new metal, you know, going to Canada. So we had a natural chemistry. So I think that it was obvious to the fans and to TK, and he just kind of ran with it. And the experiences were always great. Joey pushed me to be a better like wrestler every time I went out there. He pushed me to try things. And our feud definitely, it honestly created the alias that I have, which is Beautiful Badass, which is kind of the same concept as Concrete Rose. It's just that Beautiful Badass is a little bit darker, it's a little edgier. It's not so much of the Concrete Rose, which is more like the girl next door who's like kind of tough. Whereas Beautiful Badass is like this dark, bad bitch. So it's kind of, yeah, it definitely like helped me in so many ways. So I'm very grateful for the tag team and the feud because they definitely helped shape who Sonny Kiss is in 2022.
Right on. You know, and you mentioned a little bit earlier about TK, and for those maybe listening who don't know who TK is, we're talking about your boss, Tony Khan.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to ask this question with someone who is on the AEW roster. What are the benefits of having Tony Khan as a boss?
He understands minorities. He understands the new and the old. He's definitely a very, very smart, very like business minded. He knows exactly what the people of our generation want to see. He knows good wrestling, and I just love the fact that he's understanding. He's very, very understanding of how passionate a lot of us are, and he has a true passion as a wrestling fan. So I feel like he just gets it, and you know, we're able to talk with him, and he's, you know, able to like understand how we feel about certain things, and we really communicate. I feel like that's the best thing. He really communicates with us.
Awesome.
just following up on that, because that's a great description. Um, is there any sense of him just kind of having a sense of humor and joking around with the guys? Because a lot of times you hear stories about certain bosses, whatever industry you're in, who can be a little overbearing and not have a sense of humor. Is he someone you can approach and just kind of have a couple of laughs with?
Yeah, we definitely have great times with TK, and sometimes we'll have like our after party events, and he's very much like hands on with us, talking with us, and we he's great. Like he's total like chill, down to earth, and I feel like he just honestly is like in on it. Like he's our boss, and he establishes that, and he establishes those boundaries, but also too, he's not afraid to have fun with us as well.
That's
cool.
awesome.
Good to hear.
That's awesome. And you're an extremely talented individual. You shined as a performer on Who We Are, A Celebration of Excellence, Volume 1. And the album tells the stories of over 20 African American wrestlers on the AEW roster. Now, what was your involvement in creating this song, Whatcha Lookin At? And could you give us just a little bit of the song, a couple bars?
You're about to hit the show, hit the show. Oh, oh. Yeah. So
Okay.
I co-wrote
That's awesome.
I co-wrote that song with Brenson. It's a dance song. It's got a house vibe. It's a little dance vibe, which is actually different than a lot of the rest of the album. The album is mainly it's primarily hip hop, but there's my song, which is dance pop, and then there's Anthony Bowen's song, which is more like alternative rock, kind of post grungy. And then you have some Latin roots, some reggae roots, some soul roots. You have a lot of different elements on the album. But I definitely wanted, I wanted to be involved with my song because I sing and I rap and I perform, and I wanted to really just kind of like just do something different. And I feel like the fans would appreciate that if I actually had a hand in writing it. He approached me with the project. I knew it was happening like probably like a month prior to its release. He was like, "You want to do your own song?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I do." So I wrote the song in like not even a day, and I sent it back to them, the idea that I had, and I had a beat sent the next day. I went to record it. We had it done less than a week. It was so easy. I just wanted fans to really kind of like get a vibe, get a feel for like, it's not meant to be taken too seriously, but it's meant to be like, it has kind of like a both like a double meaning, multiple meanings. It's like what you're looking at, like I'll kick your ass, like don't let this look fool you, but also what you're looking at, like I'm so dope, like you never seen no one like me, like it's just not meant to be taken too seriously. It's a little bit like it's a song meant to empower and to make you feel confident.
That's awesome.
And it made my rotation for working out too. So that's big, to have a song where you can actually say, yeah, man, I love when that comes on and I'm working out in that playlist.
Yeah.
It just takes me to another place.
Yeah,
That's
that was the plan. I wanted people to like get on the dance floor, but also feel confident, but also really like reflect with it, to really just kind of like feel tough and feel sexy and just kind of groove. Like, don't take yourself too seriously, but also let them know that it can get serious, if you try me. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And now, obviously, looking good, looking sexy, feeling sexy. Where do you get your sense of fashion from? And who is your favorite designer?
So I honestly, I like a lot of. I'm so obsessed with the Y2K era. Like, I'm very. It's kind of like a mixture of different things. Sometimes it's a little more sporty. Like today, I'm just wearing a little cropped sweatshirt and some sweatshorts, with some bands on. I'm really chill and sporty, but also I like the grunge look. I like the Y2K, denim looks. I like. Just kind of more so that era. I'm like a nostalgia junkie is what I call myself, like a nostalgia junkie. So I grew up in the 1990s and 2000s. I was born in 93. I love the whole alt look, but I also love the teeny bopper look. So I kind of combine those things, and I don't really have a favorite fashion designer because I don't care too much about designers themselves. I just like what I like, and it doesn't matter what it costs. It could be a $4 shirt from Target. If I like it, I like it. So
That's dope.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, finally, as everybody knows, unless you've lived under a rock, AEW is back in Las Vegas for Double or Nothing this Sunday. But in 2019, you were at the Double or Nothing rally where it really started. Since that time, has there been anything, your expectations and your desires in this past 3 years that have come to reality?
I think the fact that I'm even here is just huge for me. It definitely, sometimes I don't take it in as much as I should. But the fact that I'm here, I'm mentored by my idols, Dustin Rhodes and Billy Gunn, people like that. I've grown such a great relationship with people that I truly admire, like FTR, like Jay Lethal, like Malachi Black, whom I adore. Malachi Black is absolutely amazing. And I'm watching him on TV and now working with him and now him taking me under his wing. It's such a great feeling. So honestly, I just really what I take from these past couple of years is that, it's only the beginning and I should keep going and keep pushing. Oh, I forgot to answer one of your questions. If I were to team with somebody, it probably would be maybe Top Flight.
Okay. I can see that.
I've mentioned this idea before, so Top Flight, Private Party. I think there was something with the Gun Club that was there. Mostly just me with Billy. That we had an idea with that. I miss teaming with Dustin. I thought that was such a cool thing that they could have capitalized off of.
Yeah.
And obviously, the latest one is the Baddies, which there's been over thousands of petitions to kind of get me to join, which I think is.
I'm one of them.
Probably, yeah, it's probably the most organic faction that I probably could join.
Oh yeah.
So I would say the Baddies. I feel like that feels a lot more organic, especially right now. I feel like it's the most probable and probably the easiest to maneuver through. I think it'd be a really fun idea for sure.
I think it'd be great.
And Stephen and Simon, if you have any last questions, you can throw them in. Let me ask you one more myself, and that is, you're such a wonderful person. You're full of life. It's just such a pleasure to watch you, whether it is, in a promo, in the ring, or, just sitting here talking to you. It's just wonderful. Do you really understand the impact that you have on the young kids out there who are able to look at you and go, I see someone on TV who I see in myself? Do you ever think of that?
I was just telling someone the other day. So I spoke to the kids at Reynolds Middle School in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I spoke to them about LGBTQ topics and cultural humanities and stuff like that. And those kids had a myriad of questions, and it literally had me crying because the fact that people at 12, 13 years old can say, I'm non-binary, I'm trans feminine, I'm trans masculine, and be able to be confident in that, it's a beautiful thing. Because when I was in 1998, when I was 5 years old and I knew that I was not a regular boy, I didn't know what trans feminine was. It didn't exist then. So the fact that people can say, I know these terms and I am that, and I know who I am at an early age is beautiful. I don't always kind of take that in as well. Sometimes it's really, really hard when you're in it. I strive for that. I hope for that. I hope that they are, seeing me in that light and if Sonny can do it, I can do it too. But I guess I don't really think about it too much because I'm just kind of it's just kind of it's inevitable. It's kind of there.
Sure.
It's what I feel like it's what I'm supposed to do too. So I don't really want to ask for credit for it because it's just kind of this is kind of what my life is being, So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I got a question. I always love to ask people this question. So before you get ready to go into the ring, or even right now, what is in your playlist? If you can give us just at least 3 songs that's in your playlist that's motivating you, getting ready to go, getting you ready for the day, what are you listening to?
Oh, so loaded. Oh, wow. I don't listen to music before I wrestle because I like to have my mind clear.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Sometimes it's honestly I'll meditate, I'll just for stretching.
Okay.
But if I were to have maybe like a workout playlist, obviously like Limp Bizkit's on there.
Okay.
Like a lot of different like rock and new metal stuff, some hip hop stuff. Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. And so one thing that is really important is the advice that we get. What would you say is the best piece of advice that you've gotten in your career? And if you could give a piece of advice to somebody just starting out in professional wrestling, what would it be?
I think they're both the same exact thing. Really, really like trust your own information. Really like believe in yourself and what you're doing. Because honestly, if I was to listen to people who were saying, "Oh my God, the world is not ready for a Sonny Kiss," I would probably not be here right now, because when I started in 2013, that was the case. It was like, I don't think that the world is ready to see someone like you know, looking the way you do, very female presenting. I feel like if I would have listened to those naysayers, I probably wouldn't be here. So I feel like trust and believe in what you're doing. Sometimes when it's not working, it's not that it's not working, it's just that it hasn't worked yet. But when you manifest it and you can continue to keep pushing through, and you're respecting yourself and you're respecting others, and you're constantly building relationships so people can get to know who you really are beyond what they see or what they think, I think that's where it becomes easier and easier to maneuver through. And I feel like for anyone who's coming up as an LGBTQ wrestler, I feel like definitely you have to believe in yourself and you have to trust what you're doing.
That's a wonderful way to wrap it up. I am, again, such a big fan of yours. It's just so wonderful to talk to you. We really appreciate your time. Of course, AEW is here right now in Vegas. Dynamite is tonight.
Yeah, we're at 702.
702.
702 representing. And of course, Rampage Friday night, and then the big Double or Nothing is Sunday at T-Mobile. And also, people, if you can't get out, to the arena, you got movie theaters showing it, and you also do have the option to get it on pay-per-view. So please support AEW, support Sonny. Everything you do, again, we just love, and can't wait to see what the future holds for you. And so proud.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Quite welcome.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you guys